desperately end the conversation with former Metropolitan Police Superintendent the moment he starts telling the truth over the UK riots, which opposes the BBC and government state-sponsored narrative. Okay, well, there seems to be a lot of that going on today. And I do think the things in the country are going worse. I'm on tour at the moment. And I imagine that the newspapers would say, oh, there he is, entertaining his right-wing thugs in the audience. Well, most of my audiences are too old to be thugs, but they have the same concerns. They're not on the streets, and they're not rioting, and they're absolutely not looting. I think that if you're not careful, some of these guys that are looting and rioting, and they're not part of the normal process of protesting, are going to drag everybody into the shit. Let's not be violent. Let's not, I say let us, I don't go rioting or protesting. I'm just concerned about it, and I think I'm better inside the tent pissing out than outside the tent pissing in. And what I can do on here is what I do on here, because I am concerned about the country, but I don't want people to go out rioting. And why are they throwing stones at the police? I can understand the frustration with the police. I can understand the frustration on people's minds. And when you look at what these politicians are saying, Keir Starmer, Bardi Rubble, has said, we will come down on these people hard. They will know all about it. Don't you worry about that. Well, he didn't say, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. I got boxed up those, as you could see. But it's not the rioters that are the problem, although one doesn't want to see rioting, does one? What is the problem is the problem. It's no good just sticking a plaster on a broken leg. You've got to set the bone. And it's amazing how people have been shut up. There was that lovely girl, Donna, who was a police commissioner. She put it really, really well on the whatever she put it on, but had to remove it because of, well, it's not the right thing to say. And I don't think for 1 minute that people are writing about the murder of these 3 poor children up in Southport by this young 17-year-old. Well, he's going to plead mental illness, isn't he? God. Anyway, let's not go on about that. I don't think they're rioting about that. I think that people are rioting because they've had enough. They've had enough at looking at adverts, and there's more people from non-white people than there is white people. Why are they doing that? Why is the lefty woke people stoking this and then blaming Nigel Farage? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Look, people just want a level playing field. And having said that, I had a Pakistani man walk through my door today in my village and carried my television out the front door. Did you know that? Yeah. He was a nice guy, actually. He worked for Curry's. And I'd bought a new TV, and he had turned up with it and took the old one away and the box. And he was great, and he had a great sense of humour. He was with a Bulgarian chap, of course he was, and this man was a lovely Pakistani. His accent was quite strong, so I said, where are you from? And he said, originally Pakistan. I said, oh, blimey, well, you know, let's hope we don't start a riot in this front room between 3 nationalities. No, but we all got on like a house on fire, and he gave me this lovely television. So I decided to buy one because I don't think there's going to be a riot in the Hamble where I live, and there's no television shops for me to go and loot one. So stop it, everybody. If you want to get your message across, don't start thumping policemen or setting fire to police cars. And you police have really got to own up for a little bit, really. You have, but not own up, not if you're doing anything wrong. You're doing what you're told to by your woke bosses. Stand there and stop these right-wing thugs at any cost. And of course, they're just young lads, these policemen. Well, they're not policemen, are they? They're young graduates that need a degree. Doesn't a degree tell you that you should not pin old women to the ground and whatever? But it's the rioting, and I don't think that gets the message across. Yes, the message I'm getting from people is that enough is enough. So last night I was on the Isle of Wight, obviously the centre of right-wing thuggery. No, I was in a small little theatre, the Medina Theatre, only holds about 400 people. And it was a lovely, it's just very conversational. And I was chatting to these people. And a lot of people sharing the same views. They all, not with me, they don't particularly share my views, because when they listen to me on stage, it's a slightly bonkers version of the real me. But they all had the same thing. And they were black people and white people together having a laugh. And that's what we do in Britain. When things go wrong, we have a laugh. When we're frightened, we have a laugh. When we're sad, we have a laugh. There's probably a lot of laughing going on inwards. Do you know, every morning, talking of a level playing field, see, the newspapers, the Daily Mail, for instance, it talks about right-wing thugs, far right. And then it tends to print tons and tons and tons of pictures of ethnic minority people that have murdered someone, beat someone up, stole a watch, killed his girlfriend, did this, did that. Pictures of people with machetes running around, you know, they do that. And then they say, well, are they stoking the, are they playing up to are they fueling the bigots? People like me. Every time you open the paper, they see these young, and what these young journalists, these young wokey white birds, they scribble away, don't they, about right-wing thugs. Let us have a look at the definition of the word thug. And there's a couple of them. A violent, aggressive person, especially one who is a criminal. Another version, a violent, lawless, or vicious person, especially one who commits a crime such as assault, robbery, or murder. Well, I didn't see many of them in my audience last night. They were just ordinary people. And strangely enough, do you know where the word thug comes from? Do you know, Ollie, where that comes from? No. It's an Indian word. Thag, it was a thag, someone that robs people and then strangles them. Yeah, Indian word, lots of Indian words in the British tongue. Bungalow, that's an Indian word. I suppose thug and bungalow, they're sort of linked, aren't they, really, because they've both got nothing up top. Oh, boom, boom. But what it doesn't stand for is people who are taken to the street. It does not stand for people who are taken to the streets to protest. Protest, yes, or even protest. It's these new teeth. I think they're getting a bit loose. People are just sticking up for themselves, and they're protesting that the government can't govern. The PM has given 24 million to protect mosques. Anything to protect children and British soldiers being carved up on our streets. That's what people are thinking. That's what people are thinking. And then the police turn up looking, you know, like Rorke's Drift there, the thin red line, front line fire. And it all goes to pear-shaped, doesn't it? As soon as the protesters hit the streets, the police turn up, they turn into a SAS hit squad, don't they? And they sort of pride themselves in arresting a 73-year-old woman and helpless people pinned to the ground with 6 bloody great coppers trying to handcuff them. But they ignore the Asian and Muslim gangs, right? Some of them brandishing weapons. Did you see that thing on Sky News? Oh, my God, we'll talk about that in a second. Oh,